40 years back in November 1984, 4,006 were killed in Delhi, the capital of India. The genocide continued unabated for 3 days. Every minute, one Sikh was killed on the streets of Delhi. After the genocide, the guilty were given high positions and they were given the position of power. For 40 years, the victims are still waiting for justice. The cases for the justice to the victims are still continuing even now. I, H.S. Phoolka, a senior advocate, has been handling these cases right from November 1984 onwards. Through this video series, we have made an effort to bring to you how this massacre was planned. It's an effort to take you through the whole entire journey of this 14 years.
Hi everyone and welcome to today's episode. My name is Neetika Khaitan and I am a lawyer in the History PhD program at Yale University in the United States. I work on state repression, mostly mass violence against minorities. It is my pleasure to be joined today by Senior Advocate H.S. Phoolka, who has worked for the last 4 decades on cases related to the 1984 anti-Sikh pogrom in Delhi. Thank you so much, Phoolka sir, for joining us today. Ranganath Misra was a sitting Supreme Court judge who led the first judicial inquiry commission into the 1984 anti-Sikh pogrom. Yet, despite this inquiry, very little was done to bring to justice those accused of perpetrating the violence. Why did this happen, sir?
The Ranganath Misra Commission ultimately was a total disappointment. We had started participating with a lot of hope that he is a sitting Supreme Court judge. He will at least deliver justice and he will ensure that the victims get justice. And that is the reason there's the CJC, the Sitting Justice Committee, which I have mentioned earlier also, which was headed by the former Chief Justice of Supreme Court of India, Justice S.M. Sikri, and Justice Tarkunde, Solis Ravji, Gurvinder Mukhote, and many other prominent personalities like that were the members of it. They were representing the victims. So they had a lot of hope that a sitting Supreme Court judge is appointed, he will at least give justice to the victims. With that hope, we started participating in MISHRA Commission. The MISHRA Commission started its working in July. In the report, he has himself mentioned that on 9th July, he advertised and asked for the affidavits to come, but the people did not have faith in the commission, and the people and the victims were so scared. This in the report, Mishra has said that on the expiry of first 1 month, this is, he had on 9th August, expiry of 1 month, he had received only 1 affidavit. So at that stage, he called us. This is Solis Ravji, Mr. Shoesh Malik, senior advocate, and we were there, and it assured us that you please go and contact the victims, assure them that I will give them justice, I will see that the guilty are punished, so they should come and participate before the inquiry. So after he extended the date by 1 month. After 1 month, so we had a team of volunteers working with us. There were many retired army officers, there were college students who were working with us at that time. We had our office in the North Avenue. I was, as a member secretary of the Sitting Justice Committee, I was in charge of the office, and we had a team of lawyers who were representing victims before the commission. The team was led by Solis Ravji, senior advocate, and Shoesh Malik, senior advocate, and Gurvinder, part advocate, who has recently retired as a judge of the Supreme Court. He was also a member of our team. Now, after the expiry of another 1 month, that is on 9th of September, MISHRA Commission has mentioned in its report that out of 2,905 affidavits which are filed, the affidavits in support of the victims are only 639. Why the victims and in their support are only 639, and the affidavits he has mentioned, affidavits against the victims 2,266. You see, such a large scale attempt was made to defeat the cause, the right of the victims. And these affidavits mostly said that the Sikhs were celebrating the death of Mrs. Gandhi, the Sikhs were distributing sweets, the Hindus got agitated, so they attacked the Sikhs. It is because of that reason. Most of these affidavits were about the Congress leaders, that the Congress leader helped the victims, they saved the victims, so these kind. And thousands of these affidavits were stereotyped. It was a performa filled by hand, and in that performa they were filed. This is the kind of the job, but a very organized attempt was made to defeat the interest and the cause of the victims. Now, in the MISHRA Commission, there were parties which were there before the commission. Now, these are Sitting Justice Committee, Shromani Akali Dal, Gurdwara Committee, and there were some parties which were acting against the interest of the victims. And the foremost among them was Arya Samaj. Arya Samaj, Nagarik Suraksha Samiti. This is the section of the Arya Samaj led by Ram Gopal Shalwala, a ex-member of Parliament of BJP. There were two sections of Arya Samaj. One was led by Swami Agnivesh, the other was led by Ram Gopal Shalwala. Swami Agnivesh filed the affidavit supporting the victims, and he criticized the government that the government did not stop the violence. The government is responsible for killing the Sikhs. And this section of Arya Samaj, led by Ram Gopal Shalwala, the ex-member of BJP, ex-MP of BJP, he filed thousands of affidavits to say that it was the anger of the Hindus got agitated, the Hindus attacked the Sikhs and totally supported the government line. What the Congress government of that time was saying, he totally supported that line, and this was the main party acting against the victims before the commission. When the victims appeared before the court, even the government was represented by R.K. Nand. The government lawyer did not ask, he put up the government case, but he did not ask embarrassing questions from the widows. But the lawyer of this Arya Samaj, this is Nagarik Suraksha Samiti, their lawyer Lara Ram Gupta, a senior advocate, he embarrassed the widows so much, he made the widows cry in the witness box, and the MISHRA didn't stop it.
In what ways?
In what way? He will ask the widow that nothing has happened, your husband has not died, you are making the false allegations just for the sake of compensation. Well, the questions are like this. The whole family is killed, no male family member has survived, there are 10, 12, 20 deaths in the family, and he is saying you are making false claims totally just because of getting the compensation. So, and many other embarrassing questions from the widows, and he made these widows cry in the witness box. Now, when the MISHRA Commission started evidence, he started every day he say, I'll call 25 witnesses, and out of those 25 witnesses, half will be from the victims, and half will be from this side, from out of these 2200 affidavits. Half will be from 639 affidavits, pro-victims or victims, and half will be from this. So on the first day, in 13 he called from the victims, 12 he called from the from non-victims. All 13 from the victim side appeared. Out of those 12 from the non-victim side, only 2 appeared. And one of them who came, he was a Sikh. His affidavit mentioned that H.K.L. Bhagat, the Congress leader, saved our area and we were fully protected and saved. We are thankful to him. When he comes to the witness box, and so I asked him that you have not suffered any loss. He broke down, he started crying. He said, what are you saying? Nothing is left. He said, I had a hotel, my hotel is burnt. It is totally destroyed. My house is totally destroyed, burnt. I am sitting in the relief camp. Nothing is saved. And you are saying I have not suffered any loss. So I told Justice Mishra, look at this affidavit, what he says. Then another person came. Similarly, he said that they came to me. So I asked him, why did you file this affidavit? He said, they came to me. They said, this is for the compensation. We'll get you the compensation. You sign this affidavit. Yes. Another person who came, he also said the same thing. That this affidavit they got it signed from me. That this is for the compensation. This is the first thing. So this appeared in the newspapers also. Okay, this is what's happening. The next day, Mishra had earlier ordered that this inquiry is in camera. But outside the commission's office, these victims used to give their narration to the media that this is what it is. The next day, one Sikh boy came. His affidavit also said H.K.L. Bhagat saved our area, nothing happened over there. When he appeared before the commission, he said, my signatures are forged, these are not my signatures. So we tell Mishra that you order an inquiry. Who has filed this affidavit and who has forged his signatures? Then one Hindu came. That Hindu said, his affidavit said that Sikhs were celebrating, they were distributing sweets, and so Hindu got so agitated. So when only 2 but witnesses appeared the next day also. That day also, that Hindu said, I have not filed any affidavit. He said, no, I didn't see any Sikhs celebrating. Well, these are the kind of the affidavits. So this Arya Samaj group made so hue and cry, proceedings are on camera, how the newspapers are carrying, because when two days these stories came in the newspaper, the whole game was almost they finished their whole game. So Mishra immediately ordered, proceedings are in camera, no newspaper can publish any proceeding pertaining to the commission. So this is in the report also he mentions, and he mentions wrong reporting was done in the media. There were no wrong reporting. What the person was telling the media, they were covering it. They were covering it. He said no proceeding pertaining to the commission, no press report should at all come. And in spite of that, Lustre Weekly wrote an article of Harji Malik. He issued contempt notice to Lustre Weekly. He threatened the press. So all the media coverage was totally stopped from this. The proceedings went on. After that, when the evidence was over, after that he said, I am not calling any of these witnesses. Now, he stopped calling them, he stopped only the victims. There were 2-3 sessions of the evidence, only the victims were called, though other side is not called. He told that time, I have seen that kind of evidence, I am ignoring it. But later on, during the end of the proceeding, when he said this is the last session of evidence, So we had asked him to examine the government officials. We had asked him to examine the commanding officer of 15 Sikhalai, the unit which I have mentioned in the other episode, the unit which has come to Delhi, and the unit which were confined to barracks, the unit which were disarmed, and Major Sandhu's situation reports to the head office headquarters. So we wanted Major Sandhu to examine him. We wanted GOC of Delhi, General Jambal, to examine him. He said, I have already examined them. So we said we had filed application that we want to be part of their examination. He said, no, I have already examined them. There is no need. I said, give us the statements. He said, no need of it. For you to take the statement, you are not entitled for it. Then we said the other record which is there before the commission, he said, you are not entitled to it. So when the CJC meeting held, Justice Sikri, Justice Tarkunde and Soli Sarabji, they say if he is not giving us any document, and then what are we doing in the proceedings? Because the people have faith that such a powerful body of civil society is representing the victims. So at least they will see to it that no injustice is done to the victims. So what are we doing over here? So the Citizen Justice Committee decided to withdraw from the proceeding. And we wrote a letter, a 13-page application, the reasons for withdrawal, that he has mentioned in his report about that. Why he mentioned in the report only one letter, because when we filed this application of withdrawal, 13-page application, he called me to his chamber. He said, please go and tell them I will deliver justice. So I went and called, the emergency meeting was called at Justice Tarkunde's house. So I told them, okay, this is a message Justice Mishra has sent. They say, is he prepared to show us the record? I say, no. Is he prepared to show us, give us the right to cross-examine those army witnesses, government official? I say, no. She says, then what is the use? So Justice Sikri wrote a letter that whatever we had, we have placed before you. Since we are not given any right, so our participation in the proceeding is pointless. So that letter I came and gave it to Justice Mishra. That letter he has printed in his report, that this is the reason the Citizen Justice Committee is giving. Those 13-page detailed application nowhere is mentioned. When I handed over the letter to him in his chamber, he said, okay, you sit down. Now, Citizen Justice Committee is not participating. I want you to participate. I said, how can I do it? He said, all my proceedings are dependent on you. Entire proceedings. I want you to participate in it. So I say, I am a representative in the Justice Committee. For 1.5 hours, he was trying to convince me that I should participate. When you see, a judge of Supreme Court is putting pressure and trying to convince a lawyer with 4 years of standing. And he said, I will see to it you are suitably rewarded. I said, sir, I am not doing it for any reward. He said, no, I know it, but I will see you, I will ensure that you get a due reward. I said, no. I said, this is the decision, collective decision, and I cannot participate since the Citizen Justice Committee is not there. I knew it through me he want to blame them. So I refused to participate. That was the last session of evidence, it was over. When we withdrew, after that Arya Samaj, their lawyer, Laram Gupta, said, we want, our witness should also be examined. He said, yes. I will hold another session now to examine your witness. When we had withdrawn, after that, he held another session of evidence to examine that Arya Samaj witnesses. So this was very difficult for us, because we had withdrawn, we were not there. We couldn't have gone to cross-examine them. Then what we did, In Kanpur, one senior advocate Sultan Niazi, he was representing victims in Kanpur because the Mishra Commission was Delhi, Kanpur and Bokaro. Now, Bokaro proceedings were handled by Ravinder Bhatt, now Justice Ravinder Bhatt. He went to Bokaro, he handled it. Kanpur also, he was handling. Delhi also, he was also participating along with me and this. So, we called Sultan Niazi, he was a very fine advocate. We called him, requested, and he came to Delhi. So, he appeared for Delhi Gurdwara Management Committee. So, our strategy was that Sitting Justice Committee will withdraw, Gurdwara Committee will continue to participate to ensure that Mishra don't do anything against the victims. So, Sultan Niazi appeared for Delhi Gurdwara Management Committee. Now, these affidavits, the witnesses who were summoned, their affidavits were given to us at 6 p.m. The next day is the evidence. 6 p.m. in the evening, those affidavits are given. We didn't have those affidavits. 6 p.m. Our teams from the North Avenue office used to leave to the area at 7 p.m. They used to go to that area from where the witnesses were coming and make a complete map. Like in the affidavit it said, nothing has happened in our area, this titler or this Pagat has saved us. They will bring a complete map. In the next street, house is burnt. In the 2 streets away, so many people are killed. Complete map of the area. And they used to come back at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock at night. This was the young boys and girls from the college. Jatinder, Kaur, Lal, Gurvinder, Singh, and their group was this. And they used to brief me, and next day in the morning at 7 o'clock, I used to brief Sultan Niazi. In the cross-examination, Sultan Niazi broke each and every witness. Each and every witness, almost. So, this was the state of affair as far as the Mishra Commission is concerned. This is the reason that the guilty, when these are the kind of the proceedings, how the guilty would be punished. Then at the end of the proceeding, Mishra in his report says, this is not part of my duty to identify the persons. Delhi police is responsible, Delhi police is negligent, Delhi police didn't perform any duty, but this is not my job to identify the guilty police officers. The government should appoint a retired High Court judge and a bureaucrat to go into the role of the police. That's what he said. As far as the registration of cases are concerned, I have arrived to this conclusion: the cases were not properly registered. In most of the cases, the closure reports are filed. By 86, within 1 year, closure reports were filed. Most of the cases, closure reports are filed, and I have seen the files, they are wrongly filed. But I am not going to give any recommendation. The government should appoint another committee of a judicial officer and a police officer who will go into it. Then he says, as far as the number of deaths are concerned, you see this. This as far as the police, the committee, this at page 65, he recommend this police committee, the committee to recommend the registration of the FIRs. And he says, I am satisfied and enough evidence has come that the police did not lodge the FIRs properly. Complaints, not FIR, complaints properly. If any victim named a VIP or a police officer or a political leader, his complaint was not taken. He was asked to remove it, and those who have removed it, their complaint was taken, and otherwise, so this is not a proper job. And he said investigations are perfunctory. Specifically, he used the job, investigation are perfunctory, but I am not going to do anything, appoint another committee. Then here is this as far as the police officer, that appoint a committee of the retired High Court judge. This is at page 41. Retired a committee of a retired High Court judge and a committee of a police officer. Then on the deaths, regarding the deaths, now you see what he says. This is as page 22 of the petition. He say, according to police, 1419 deaths have taken place in Delhi. According to Delhi government, Delhi administration, 2307 deaths have taken place. So you see, the when 200 Delhi government accepted 2300 and police has a record of only 1419. So regarding these about 900 deaths, there is no FIR. There is no police record. There is absolutely no mention in police record. There is no FIR. So then he had asked CJC, Citizen Justice Committee, to compile a list, and he mentions that we have given the list of 3,870. 3,870 was our list. So he ultimately mentioned that the deaths are in any case between 2,307 and 3,874. He said this is to be verified, and he recommended the government appoint an officer to verify and give these. So this is the job what MISHRA had done. MISHRA did not give, in a way, pass the buck. There's so much of evidence, he had to accept the lapses of the police, he had to accept not registering proper FIRs, he had to accept that the proper death figure even has not been reached, but all this he passed on to somebody that the different committee, they should do it. This is not my job. This is what the MISHRA Commission did. That is the reason that all those culprits and the guilty, they were not punished for so long.
We are joined now by Ms. Jatinder Kaur, a social worker who also worked as a volunteer in the aftermath of the 1984 anti-Sikh pogrom in Delhi. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us today.
Thank you.
How did you first come to be involved in relief work in the aftermath of the 84 violence?
Like, to begin with, I must tell you, the black day in 70 years of my life, I have never ever seen such harrowing and tragic moments in my life, which me and my family, we are a live witness to the anti-Sikh riots on that day. So we just took a chance and we got together and we came to know that there was a relief camp in government school of Rani Bagh. And victims are from Mangolpuri and Sultanpuri and Nangloi and in and around areas. So these were the three main areas. We just went with some food and with some clothings. Just as normal, we never expected such a harrowing situations and moments that has happened. We went there after giving some relief to them, listening to their hues and cries, because that day we were not able to interact with the people because that was too early for them. We came back. I had a word with my father. We drafted a note and we just decided to do something for them because by the grace of God, we got saved. Right. We drafted a note. My father helped me in that. And it was name, number of dead people, looting, arsoning, whosoever had great loss in this tragic moments. So we made a team. I had a word with my nears and dears, my friends, and everybody started connecting with me. So we made a team of 10, 12 people. And that camp was shifted to Rakabganj Gurdwara then. And Delhi Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee did a big part in giving them shelter in the Gurdwara for months together. So we went there. We had just a stool and a table in the open area, and we used to sit there. The first part, what we did was to give a mental counseling to those people. That was the first need. Secondly, Gurdwara people were giving them food. Then we started collecting clothes for them, like so many things in and around, little bits and bits. So slowly and gradually after that, we got attached to our dear Ranganath Singh Phoolka ji, and Mishra Commission was formed, and in the lead of Justice Tarkurde and Justice Soli Sorab ji, we were attached with the investigating team in the leadership of our respected Harvinder Singh Phoolka ji, and we were deployed. We were asked to do the groundwork for them. Like we started collecting the affidavits, and these victims of giving statements against the politicians, against the police, against the government agencies, whosoever were responsible for this. Then we used to bring these affidavits to our investigating team, and from there we were asked to do the groundwork. So then we started going late evenings to the areas like Shadra, East Azad Nagar, Trilokpuri, Khichadipur, here and there in those East Delhi areas. And we used to bring information, talking to the next door neighbor or somebody else. Like we were very caring to whom to talk. And then we used to bring that written information to our investigating team, to Phoolka. And on behalf of that, working day and night, overnight, they used to argue the next morning in the Mishra Commission court. While collecting these informations and affidavits and informations in and around, once upon a time, all of a sudden, my father got a threat call from an unknown person about my killing. So he said, okay, no issue. Even if I lose my daughter, that will be another killing in the list of these victims. So like my father was very bold. He said, Ki, don't stop your work. Keep doing it. No issues.
Are there any specific examples that you still remember from when you were working as a volunteer during the Mishra Commission?
Yes, a team of human rights organization came from UK and Europe. It was a team of 3 people. And Mr. Max Madden, the then Member Parliament House of Commons from Bradford constituency, was head of that team. Sardar Khushwant Singh and Mrs. Bibi Nirlep Kaur, they called me and they got me attached to that team. And they were interested. We got an office in Imperial Hotel at Janpath. And they were interested that I should get some of the right victims to get introduced to them for the interview. So I did that work. And Gurvinder also was with me. We were always together. And we got the victims interviewed by the human rights organization because they were interested to know face to face what happened from their own mouths. They wanted to know. And then these people, a team of people from House of Commons, House of Lords, they came from 37th Commonwealth Meet. So since I was attached with them for the work, so they came and they called us to Ashok Hotel. They were there. Then, as my father was a bit ailing, so they wanted to meet my father, and we hosted a dinner for them. They accepted it. They visited for the dinner at my place and had a good discussion on this 84 rights with my father and other people also.
Are there any specific instances or examples that still stay in your memory from the time you were working as a volunteer?
Yes, there are many, but I can specify you one case. It was a lady at Rakabganj Gurdwara, Mrs. Jasbir Kaur, with her 3 small children. And her husband was a meat seller. He was having a shop who was selling this goat meat and all that. The Reuters came to his shop. They first cut his legs and they cut his arms and then they cut his neck with the same butcher weapon that was being used to cut the goats. It was a very screaming case I have ever seen in my life. So what happened? Out of love and affection, I took that lady with her 3 children to my house and she stayed with us for 1 month. One another horrifying incident is coming to my mind. There were 21 families. They were related to each other, and like you, they were staying together. So a message came on the loudspeaker that day. Ki all the male members come out. We are here for your security. Don't worry, come out. We will give you full security and protection. So everybody was scared. So they just took it granted. They came out, they came all together, and they asked them to follow them. They followed them and they put them to one room, and they locked the room and burned them all alive. So all the 21 widows were there after that killing. They burned them alive, all 21 people in that room, after locking them. One can go mad after these kind of listening to these kind of incidents. And you can see this photo of all those 21 ladies, 21 widows with their children. Whole family was killed. Whole family. Then one another chance I got to. All of a sudden, I got a official invitation from Mr. Max Madden from House of Commons from London on 19th July 2000. So I went to England. I was invited to House of Commons, and the then retired Justice Banks from Punjab and Ajit Singh Justice. He was from Punjab and Haryana High Court. He and me, we both went together to Bradford constituency. People from Bradford, because Mr. Max Madden was the MP from Bradford constituency, people from that constituency got together, and this meeting was organized in Ramgarhia Sikh Gurudwara at Bolton Road. And he spoke about the massacres of Punjab and the innocent youngsters sitting in jails for 6 to 8 years. And I was supposed to speak on the Delhi riots. We had a very good interaction with the people, and we made them aware what exactly happened, because nobody can know, sitting so apart of what was the exact scene in Delhi. Although the riots were all over India, the worst part was in Delhi, the worst part. So this is how, again, I want to conclude. We will not stop our work. We will keep doing it, and we will keep fighting for this injustice unto our death. And we will keep telling the next generations to come, this is what all happened. Do not forget. Another threat call was, we were coming back from MISHRA Commission back to our office. When we got to go there, what we found all of a sudden, instead of asking what happened, how was the day, what were the proceedings, everybody was so grim and quiet. We just asked them, what happened? What's wrong? So Mr. Banks, who was the administrative officer in that office, he just stood up. He showed a letter to us. This is the letter we have, threatening letter we have got. Close this office, stop your work, otherwise you will also be with the same fate as the people were killed. And he handed over the letter to Phoolka ji, and he said, let's report to the police. Mr. Phoolka ji just teared up the letter, threw in the dustbin, and he said, Jo hoega dekha jayega, let's start the work again. This is what, we all sat together, and we were again with the high spirits of our work.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for taking out time and being with us here today.
My pleasure being with you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, ma'am. We are now joined by Shri Gurvinder Pal Singh, who worked as a volunteer with the Citizens Justice Committee during the MISHRA Commission, the first judicial inquiry set up into the 1984 anti-Sikh violence. Thank you so much, Gurvinder ji, कि आप आज हमें अपना टाइम दिया है. मैं पहले पूछना चाहती थी कि जब आप मिश्रा कमीशन के टाइम पे सीजेसी के साथ वॉलंटियर थे, तब आपकी उम्र क्या थी?
मेरी उम्र 23 साल थी.
23 साल. और तब आप कर क्या रहे थे?
मैंने ग्रेजुएशन कंप्लीट कर, पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन कर.
अच्छा
और कुछ फैमिली बिजनेस में इन्वॉल्व था।
जी। और 1984 के कत्लेआम के बाद आप रिलीफ के काम में कैसे इन्वॉल्व हुए?
रिलीफ के काम में तो हम सेंट्रल दिल्ली में रहते थे और रकाबगंज गुरुद्वारा में रिलीफ कैंप इस्टेब्लिश हुआ था। जो भी लोग हमारे मतलब हमारे एरिया में भी जहाँ मैं रहता था वहाँ भी कैजुअलिटीज थोड़ी हुई हैं, लेकिन हमारे मतलब जहाँ मैं रहता हूँ वहाँ नहीं हुई थी, थोड़ी दूर हुई थी। और उसके बाद बाकी हम वो उस माहौल में तो सबको मतलब शौक थे, कोई किसी ने कोई एक्सपेक्ट ही नहीं किया था ये जो चीज़ हो गई। और फिर उसके बाद जो लोगों का नुकसान हुआ, फिर हमने जो खालसा कॉलेज के कुछ प्रोफेसर थे, लेक्चरर और स्टूडेंट्स थे, सब हमने मिलके फिर एक ग्रुप सा बनाया और हमने कहा चलो प्रतापगंज में जो विडोज आ गई हैं, फैमिलीज आ गई हैं, तो उनको रिलीफ देंगे, जो हम कर सकते हैं वो काम करें। तो फिर हमने वहाँ रिलीफ वर्क स्टार्ट किया और कुछ फिर वहाँ पे जो कुछ रिलीफ बच्चे थे, ये जो अभी वहाँ पे हॉल है वहाँ पे रकाबगंज में, लखी शाह बंजारा हॉल, वो अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन था उस टाइम। तो वहाँ पे वो टेंट से उनको कवर करके इंक्लोजर बना बना के एक एक फैमिली को वहाँ पे सारे वहाँ पे जो बच्चे थे, लेडीज थी, वहाँ रहती थी। तो उनके लिए गुरुद्वारे से लंगर वगैरह तो था ही, बाकी कपड़े वगैरह जो लोग डोनेशन दे के जाते थे हम उनको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करते थे, सब कुछ करते थे।
जी। और इसके बाद जब मिश्रा कमीशन स्थापित हुआ, तब आप उनके काम में कैसे इन्वॉल्व हुए?
वो हुआ ये ऐसे कि जब हम रिलीफ वर्क कर रहे थे तो ये मिस्टर फूलका और बाकी सब लोग ये जो वहाँ विजिट कर रहे थे कि भाई लोगों को मिश्रा कमीशन के लिए एफिडेविट देने के लिए कह रहे थे कि भाई जो जो हुआ है वो एफिडेविट्स की शेप में या बताएं या ये नोट करके जाते थे। तो वो हम लोग सारे ही वो, पढ़े लिखे सारे मतलब स्टूडेंट्स भी थे क्या और कॉलेज के लेक्चरर भी थे। तो हमने फिर मिस्टर फुल्का और उनसे सबको कहा कि भाई हमारी कोई हेल्प चाहिए बताइए। तो फिर उन्होंने हमें कहा कि ज्वाइन अस, कि भाई आप हमारा जो भी काम कर सकते हो करवाइए हमारे साथ। तो ये इनको एफिडेविट के लिए परसू कीजिए, मतलब परसू क्या है, उनके जो उनके इंसिडेंट है उसको नरेट कीजिए, और जो भी वो कर रहे हैं उनको राइट डाउन करके हमें दीजिए एफिडेविट पे। तो वो कुछ लोगों ने वो ड्यूटी ली कि भाई हमने उनकी भी पूरी स्टोरी सुनना और उसको लिखना और फिर उनको बाद उनको एफिडेविट्स के लिए पहले ये ऐसे स्टाफ हुआ। और वो भी वो सिटी एंड जस्टिस कमेटी का जो ऑफिस था वो रकाबगंज गुरुद्वारे के पास ही था, एमपी फ्लैट में। तो वहाँ भी जाते थे, फिर जाना शुरू हो गए वहाँ, तो ऐसे इन्वॉल्व हो गए इनके साथ।
जी। और जो एफिडेविट्स आप कलेक्ट कर रहे थे, जो 84 के विक्टिम्स थे और सर्वाइवर्स थे, उसके अलावा कुछ ऐसे एफिडेविट्स भी फाइल हुए थे मिश्रा कमीशन के सामने, जो सर्वाइवर्स और विक्टिम्स के खिलाफ थे। क्या उन पे भी आपने काम किया?
हाँ, उनमें भी काम किया हमने। वो जो गवर्नमेंट की सपोर्ट या कुछ भी समझिए जिन्होंने किया उनकी सपोर्ट के लिए वो एफिडेविट आए लोगों के, तो हमारा हमने इन्वॉल्वमेंट हमारी तब हुई उनके लिए। बाकी तो हम क्या कर सकते थे, कोई भी किसी ने एफिडेविट दिया, लेकिन जब वो आर्गूमेंट और वो जब उनकी विटनेस का टाइम आया तब हमारा थोड़ा रोल रहा उसमें
जी।
कि हम वो जो विटनेस के लिए क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन करने के लिए उनका जो एफिडेविट्स वो के कहाँ रहते हैं, उनके सराउंडिंग में क्या है क्या नहीं है, इंफॉर्मेशन कलेक्ट करके जस्ट टू क्रॉस देम बेटर, उसके लिए फिर हमने कहा।
और ये जो एफिडेविट्स थी, जो 84 के विक्टिम्स और सर्वाइवर्स के खिलाफ फाइल की जा रही थी, ये एफिडेविट्स आपको कब मिलती थी? पहले दिन?
ये हमें जैसे विटनेस, कल विटनेस है मतलब शाम को 5-6 बजे, और वो 5-6 बजे मतलब हमें ये सिलेक्ट करते हुए कल सुबह विटनेस आएगी और इसको क्रॉस एग्जामिन करना है। तो हम लोग फिर वो जिसका एफिडेविट था फिर उसके उसके एड्रेस, उसके आसपास पूरा सराउंडिंग एरिया, कहाँ पे कोई इंसिडेंट हुआ है, कहाँ कितनी कोई डेथ हुई है, कोई प्रॉपर्टी डैमेज हुई है, वो उसका एरिया मार्क करके नक्शा बना के फिर वो हम ला के देते थे और वो सुबह क्रॉस एग्जामिन में काम आता था। तो एफिडेविट हमें 5-6 बजे मिलते थे और 11 बजे तक टाइम था, 5-6 घंटे का टाइम था सिर्फ। तो उसमें हम क्या करते थे कि भी जिसने भी एफिडेविट दिया है हम उसके घर के एड्रेस होता था, उस एड्रेस के उसके सराउंडिंग एरिया में जो भी मिस हैपनिंग्स हुई हैं, जहां भी कोई कोई प्रॉपर्टी डैमेज हुई है, कोई आग लगी है, कोई डेथ हुई है, कोई कुछ भी लॉयड्स में मारा गया है, वो उसको मार करके पूरा नक्शा बना के लाते थे और रात को जो लॉयर्स थे उनको ब्रीफ करते थे कि भाई ये नक्शा है, ये आदमी यहाँ रहता है, इसके घर से 500 मीटर दूर तो ये 2 आदमियों की डेथ हुई है, और ये 100 मीटर पे एक घर जला है, और ये 1 किलोमीटर पे तो 10 आदमी मारे गए हैं। तो ये कैसे कह रहे हैं कि यहाँ कुछ हुआ ही नहीं, यहाँ ऐसे नहीं, मतलब वो क्रॉस एग्जामिन करने के लिए उनको फैक्ट्स चाहिए होते थे, तो वो लॉयर्स को हम देते थे ला के रात को कि भाई ये मॉर्निंग में पूछते थे, फिर उसके बेस के ऊपर कि भाई ये वो आता था विटनेस देने, ये मानते।
जी। और ये जो एफिडेविट्स थी, जो सर्वाइवर्स और विक्टिम्स के खिलाफ फाइल की गई थी, इनके कोई 1-2 उदाहरण हैं जो आपको अभी भी याद हैं?
हाँ, एक एक एग्जाम्पल तो बहुत बढ़िया है कि हमारे मतलब कि हमने एक ईस्ट आजाद नगर एक एरिया है, वहाँ पे एक रहते थे मिस्टर बलविंदर सिंह। उनका एक एफिडेविट था कि ही वॉज वेरी क्लोज टू मिस्टर H.K.L. भगत। वो भगत को वो कह रहे थे कि भी हमें तो इस एरिया में बचाया है, भगत ने सिखों को बचाया है आके, तो उसकी विटनेस थी। तो उसके विटनेस में उसके एरिया में एक राम सिंह की भी एक कोई इंसिडेंट हुआ था, उसने अपनी डिफेंस में फायर भी किया था और उसको प्रॉब्लम भी हुई थी। तो हमने सोचा कि भी हम राम सिंह जी से जाके पूछें कि आपके एरिया में क्या है, क्योंकि वो भी ईस्ट आजाद नगर में रहते थे। तो हम उनके घर पे जाने के लिए हम जा रहे थे, तो हम बाई चांस एक ऑफिस खुला हुआ था, तो हमने उसमें चले गए पूछने के लिए राम सिंह जी का घर कहाँ है। वो हम अंदर गए तो वो एक टेबल पे एक लड़का बैठा था, उसके पीछे एक बहुत बड़ी फोटोग्राफ जिसमें H.K.L. भगत और बलविंदर सिंह जी की फोटो। तो हमें शौक कि भाई ये ऑफिस बलविंदर सिंह जी का ही है। हम वहाँ पहुंच गए, तो हम बड़ी जल्दी से वहां से निकले कि भाई ये क्या, हमने उनसे पूछा था कि राम सिंह जी का घर क्या है। वो उन्होंने बताया कि राम सिंह जी मेरे चाचा जी हैं, वो सामने रहते हैं, मतलब आगे गली में रहते हैं। तो फिर हम राम सिंह जी के घर चले गए उस एरिया से। वो बलविंदर सिंह जी के घर से जिन्होंने ये कहा था कि भाई हमें H.K.L. भगत जी ने बचाया है या वो किया है, तो हमने उनको प्रूव किया कि उनके घर से 100 मीटर दूर 12-13 डेथ हुई, मतलब पास पास। तो कोई घर जले हैं, डेथ भी हुई हैं, और वो एफिडेविट दे रहे हैं कि वहां हमें बचाया गया है, कुछ हुआ ही नहीं। वो हमने सारे फैक्ट्स ला के दिए उनको। वो ऐसे इंसिडेंट हुए हमारे साथ।
अ, ये तो बड़ा ही जोखिम भरा काम रहा होगा। क्या आपके साथ कभी कुछ हुआ?
हाँ हुआ, वो पुलिस वाले हमारे घर भी आए और टाप के आए, मेन डोर से भी नहीं आए, और उन्होंने आके फिर दरवाजा को खोल के सारा सारा सामान इधर उधर किया, और वो जो हमारी एल्बम वगैरह जो भी काम सारा कुछ देखा, और फिर ले गए साथ में। ले गए, फिर सारी रात वहाँ पुलिस स्टेशन में बैठे रहे। सुबह कहते जाओ, और जाके फिर शाम को दोपहर को फिर आओ, फिर शाम को छोड़ दिया, फिर अगले दिन सुबह आओ। तो वो 1-2 दिन हुआ, तो वो उसके बाद हमने फिर वो मिश्रा कमीशन में उसमें सिटी एंड जस्टिस कमेटी में पता लगा कि भी ऐसे ऐसे बात हुई है। तो उन्होंने फिर मिश्रा कमीशन में कंप्लेंट की। कंप्लेंट करने के बाद जस्टिस मिश्रा ने पुलिस कमिश्नर को कॉल किया। तो पुलिस कमिश्नर के बाद जब वो कंप्लेंट चली गई ना, फिर वो उसके बाद थोड़ा शांति हुई।
लेकिन अगर मिश्रा कमीशन कुछ नहीं करती,
हाँ,
तब
तो
ये
वो
जो
तो कुछ भी
पुलिस
कर
जो
सकते थे,
तंग कर
वो तो
रही
कुछ
थी
भी
वो
कर सकते थे, कोई भी केस बना देते। लेकिन उस टाइम फिर हमारे दिमाग में जो 84 का इतना ज्यादा वो था कि भाई ये क्यों ऐसे हुआ, कैसे क्या हो गया, और फिर इनको तो कुछ ना कुछ तो उनको सजा मिलनी चाहिए। तो ठीक है, हम एफिडेविट्स इसलिए करवाए थे कि भाई इनको सजा मिलनी चाहिए।
जी, शुक्रिया। थैंक यू सो मच गुरविंदर जी कि आपने अपना टाइम निकाला है हमारे लिए आज। थैंक यू सो मच सर।